we're born into affliction, and we're not taught how to handle it because most people don't know how to handle it. And if they do, then they've learned it later on in their lives and are going to teach their kids. But I feel like that's low-key rare, and it might be also more new to this like newer generation who's about to have kids, because I don't think there were a lot of people who really understood like the spiritual aspects of being a human in this life and how to actually process everything and use it to your advantage and what the whole purpose is. I don't think that's very popularized. Like, it's pretty niche type of ideology that's going on here. Like, it's not even really included in most religions, I don't think. But I'm no expert on religion, to be honest. I kind of just find my way. But I have this series idea called Afflictions, Addictions, and Attributes. And it's kind of like a pathway system of rebalancing and neutralizing yourself and learning how to actually be a positive source on this planet. And the first step, or stepping stone of this pathway is afflictions. And when you look this up on Google, the definition includes disease or physical ailments, mental sickness or physical suffering, misfortune, hardship, and like persistent trouble that you're experiencing in your life. So basically every kind of like hardship that you could possibly experience, whether it's physical, mental, spiritual, reoccurring, or once occurring, or internal, external, all these things, that is afflictions. So the way I see it is like we're all born into our own set of afflictions, and everyone has a different, unique set of things. And most of the time in this life, we're just taught that like, oh, this is an undesirable thing to have or experience, and why me? So that's a victim mentality, and it's not going to get you anywhere, unfortunately. It's easy to fall into a victim mentality. It's hard to take responsibility and accept and forgive. But it's also like a yin and yang, because in the long run, taking responsibility, accepting, and forgiving is the easier path. And in the long run, being a victim is the harder path, because your life is just going to continue to be hard and you're going to be too weak to handle it. When you're a victim, you're never getting stronger. You're just staying exactly where you are. So, I believe that there is good and bad, obviously. Yin and yang, it's an ebb and flow. There are two poles of the same scale in this reality that we live in. Duality exists in every emotion: love, hate, fear, courage, light, dark, hard, easy. And it's all just, everything falls in like a varying degree on this scale between these 2 points. And most of the time, it's like one point that actually separates them. And where does it actually separate? That's why yin and yang makes a lot of sense, because there is the opposite inside the opposite at all times. You cannot really separate it. Everything is a moving scale, okay? So that means that you can take one aspect of thing and slide it along the scale if you know how. So you could take something bad and use it to your advantage. You could take love and turn it into hate. You could take hate and turn it into love. You could take light and turn it into dark. You could take dark and turn it into light, okay? You can do these things, but you have to know how to alchemize. So if we're all born into our own specific, unique set of afflictions, and you learn how to take these things and use them to your advantage and gain power, understanding, growth, and light from them, that's how you're going to advance in your life. Otherwise, you're just gonna stay stuck, and you're always gonna feel like you're kind of drowning and you can never quite get ahead. And it's because you have not gained the strength to do what you're supposed to do in this life. The way I've always seen it is like when I'm in my own hell and I'm in the trenches of my existence, like I'm in my own set of afflictions deep, okay? It's like I'm swimming deep, deep down, diving in the ocean, and I cannot really breathe. But while I'm down there, I'm going to make good use of it, and I'm going to find all these little gems and all these treasures, and I'm going to swim back up to the surface with them. And it's going to be hard, but when it's time, when I feel like I'm really like running out of breath, I will know which way is up, and I just need to stop swimming, stop treading, stop trying to get anywhere, have faith, and float to the top. And I take everything that I've found, all the treasures that I've found, with me. And those treasures represent me making use out of the darkness and out of the hardship. So I will learn lessons, I will gain strength, I'll gain understanding. Experience is the best teacher. So when I gain experience in a certain aspect of life, it means I can teach about it and I can help other people with it. So even though I put myself through a lot of things and a lot of extremes that could have been avoided, I really don't regret anything. And I feel like I've completely neutralized my energy field now, and all the negative things that have ever happened to me that I put upon myself, it's all turned into light. It's all turned into an understanding now. There is nothing that still eats at me. There is nothing in the past that still hurts me when I think about it. Everything is neutralized. I've forgiven, I've accepted, and I'm grateful for everything that I've been through. So when I turned 23, I swear it was like everything from the past was wrapped up in a gift box. I can see it with a bow, and it's like this beautiful, precious container of experiences and energy, but none of it's leaking over here. None of it, like, I don't even really feel like I'm the same person who experienced all those things. Like, it's definitely just, it's neutralized. There's nothing lingering. And it had something to do with turning 23, because every birthday feels like something different, but 23 really feels like that was the end of my adolescence. So it was the end of like one of the chapters of my life. I'm sure there was another chapter before, like when I was a young kid and started to gain my own consciousness and have my own power, but that feels like the biggest chapter is just wrapped up, and now I'm on to the beginning of the next one. I think I'll just stick to speaking about afflictions in this video, and then I'll do another one on addictions and another one on attributes, and that will leave off on like kind of the whole 3 set of how to actually do this. So you could take responsibility for a lot of things in life, and I do think that that's a clear pathway to neutralizing energy is being able to like see outside of your perspective. Obviously not like placing yourself as a victim that something is happening to, and you have to understand that bad things are happening. Bad things, hard things, you're experiencing these things because you're attracting them somehow. Otherwise, they wouldn't be here. That's so hard to say because there is so much pain and so much unnecessary suffering that goes on, and it's really hard to see and accept the fact that like it's not all bad when you're in this life and you have those human emotions and these human feelings, it's really hard to say like, oh, it's meant to be that way. And I totally get the other side of it, of the empathy and doing everything you can to alleviate other people's suffering and your own suffering. We can still help people and make the world a better place, like, while we're here. Obviously, that's the goal. When it comes to your own personal afflictions, take them as they are. You are strong enough to handle it. You just don't have the necessary training yet. So I used to make a lot of videos about this, actually, on all these different ways that you can neutralize this energy. I'm not sure if they're all still up. I deleted a lot, but take responsibility for your part in a situation, accept the situation, and forgive. And I really feel like if you do those things, that is what's going to make it so that it's not tugging on you and it's not pulling on you. And if you've experienced trauma of any sort, it's hard to say, because my body, I feel like my body, and there's still parts of my brain that react to certain situations because of my specific, like, very intense negative experiences in the past, but it doesn't overcome me and it doesn't, like, ruin me. So I think it's just a matter of, like, turning yourself towards the light and towards the spiritual healing, and those things become easier to deal with and they fade over time. Like, PTSD is really just like your body has learned to react a certain way towards specific triggers because it had to, and because you experienced something extremely intense regarding that. So it just takes enough, like, learned and proven experiences that that's not always the case. Like, for me, I jump every time someone gets near me, or there's a noise that I wasn't expecting, or just little things like my phone rings, like that type of thing. Like, I will get startled, and it's just because I've been startled for very real reasons in the past. And so it's like these little triggers, and my brain is just like, oh my gosh, it's danger again, but it's not. So I think it just takes enough time of, like, reproving to yourself that you're not always in danger when this trigger happens. And this is emotional and physical, and it's crazy. It's actually crazy how our triggers show up in our relationships too, because I definitely still have, like, these little child wounds that show up in my romantic relationship. I'm very grateful for my boyfriend because he always proves them wrong. So, like, I'll be scared about something because it happened like that in the past, or, like, I'll see a sign and I'll be like, oh, it means this, and I'm making it mean something so much bigger than it actually is. And I have to be able to voice that to him, and then he will debunk it. So eventually I will gain more security through being proven wrong, if that makes sense. Everything that is in your reality and everything you experience because you believe it. We all have these core beliefs that we don't necessarily know or are completely conscious of. And if you've been programmed to believe that you are only worthy of love if this type of person can love you, because this is the type of person that made you feel like you were unworthy of love, so you spend your whole entire life trying to get that same type of person to love you back, to prove that you're worthy. Whereas, like, there will be other people who are just different and actually see you for who you are, but you don't want their love because it's too easy type shit. And you're gonna keep attracting that negative situation over and over and over again because you still haven't accepted that you're worthy of love regardless of who loves you. They do not matter. Everything is about you. Everything is internal. So the sooner that you can accept, the sooner that you can notice your patterns and notice your wounds. Our afflictions are literally a pattern. You will experience the same afflictions showing up in different ways over and over and over again, because there's something about you when you were a kid that you believe about yourself, and you're attracting it in all these different ways, and it's going to manifest as different things, whether it's manifesting as a bad partner or a bad work situation, or physical ailments or mental illness, or just reoccurring themes that you keep dropping yourself into. And you have to ask, okay, why am I going through this? Like, Jenny over there is not going through, she obviously has her own set of things, but she's not going through the same thing as me. That's how I realized. I was like, why does every single like person that I catch feelings for treat me the exact same way and leave me the exact same way, when that person over there, my friend, that doesn't happen to her? Obviously, like, she has her own things, but it's not the same. So that must mean that I'm doing this to myself. And that's not to say that their behavior is, justified? But it is to say that I can definitely take responsibility for allowing this energy into my field. Somewhere inside, somewhere along the line, I think I deserve this. Otherwise, I would not accept it. Okay? Everything you allow to happen to you, not necessarily like, I don't know how to talk about like getting in a car crash, or like being born into an abusive parental situation, other than that shit is like spiritual and alchemize it. But I'm talking about these reoccurring little minute patterns that create like long-term suffering over time. You're only allowing this situation into your life and accepting it for this amount of time because you literally think you deserve it, or you're trying so hard to prove yourself through that situation, prove yourself to yourself, because there's something inside of you that you don't accept yet. So like for me, I definitely attracted the same type of partner over and over and over again, and it left me feeling the exact same way, in small ways and in big ways, the exact same. They would all do the exact same thing, and I had to ask myself, okay, why am I picking this type of person who acts like that? Like, there's other people who like me or are interested in me, and I don't want them because it doesn't feel like I'm gonna get anything from it. Like, I'm not interested, I'm not attracted, I'm not pulled towards them, because I'm trying to prove something to myself. There's a purpose for everything that you accept and everything that you do and everything that you choose. So I had to like really look inside and be like, okay, I'm picking this type of person because I need them to accept me for me to accept myself. Because when I was a kid, I didn't feel like I was cool. I was not accepted by the cool kids. I was always like right on the outskirts because I'm weird, okay? I'm not a normie. I don't follow trends. I don't do what everyone else does. I do my own thing, and I actually set trends. But that means that like in school, these people thought, like, bro, being weird is cool now. But they thought that I was lame for being my own person. So I would always try, like as I got older, to be in a relationship with that type of person who can't handle me and doesn't understand my uniqueness. And if I could just get them to like me, then I won. Then I'm worth something. That's what I was trying to prove to myself, bro. School trauma? Really gonna guide my love life through my whole adult life? Like, this little elementary, middle school kid is just trying to feel like she's in, like she's okay, she's good, she can be herself. Bro, she can be herself. She should be herself. That's the only thing she should do. And she should never try to get someone else who's not even in the same freaking realm as her to try to understand her. That doesn't make any sense. So you have to see and recognize that part of yourself that's attracting these situations. What does she need? She needs something from you that she's not getting, so she's looking for it in other people, in outside circumstances. And it's going to be different for everybody. So that's where you need to pick up the smarts, the understanding, the spiritual guidance to look at your situations, notice the patterns, and ask yourself, why do I keep asking for this? What am I trying to prove? Once you find that, give her a hug, bro. She needs you. She needs to be accepted and loved and know that she's enough. And I swear, most of the time, people's wounds come down to not feeling like they are enough. Everyone just wants to be enough as they are. They want to be themselves. They want to be accepted. They want to be loved for who they are. I swear that's what it all boils down to. Like, all the pain in the world, bro, these people are in pain because they're inflicting pain on themselves. So they inflict pain on other people because they're getting something from it. That's literally how it works. Hurt people. That's a fact. So if you can choose love, love is the law. Pain is pain. Choose pain, feel the pain, turn it into love. Soothe the pain through love. Or never see the pain, keep feeling the pain, keep falling a victim, and then you're going to keep inflicting pain on yourself and on other people. That's why the world ain't round, bro. That's why this shit is fucked up, bro. Because people don't understand themselves. They can't even look inside. We're going to outer space and we don't even know what's inside of ourselves. Are we really going to outer space, though? Anyway. So that's how you do some shadow work and face your demons. And this is going to significantly reduce the amount of suffering that you attract in your life. This is going to put you on the path to health, because physical ailments and mental disease are not going to need to manifest because there's nothing negative that you're holding inside yourself that it needs to come out. You're neutralizing it. You're alchemizing it. And doing this also makes it so that you can see that part of that small little child part of people in other people. And you can have empathy. And if they're inflicting pain, you can be the one that they need to be for themselves. Be like, hey, I feel like you're reacting this way because you feel like blah, blah, blah. And this is so useful in friendships, in romantic relationships, especially because you guys can help each other heal. Like if you're healing and you understand why you react extremely in certain ways, you can cool each other down. Because if two people don't understand themselves and they're like, hey, you said this, blah, 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 and they're like, fuck you, blah, 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 blah. Bro, that is why relationships are fucked up. That is why this shit is toxic. That is why nobody's happy. That's why it's stressful. That's why it's heightened. That's why you cross that line of disrespect, because you're not respecting yourself. Okay? Like, me and my boyfriend used to be in that defensive fight mode. I would do something that triggered him and made him scared, and he would react in a very strong way, and I would be like, yo, what the fuck? Like, what? I did nothing. Why are you freaking out right now? And I would have to defend myself. I'd be like, no, you're wrong. You're wrong. This is why I did that, blah, blah, blah. And I try to prove him wrong. Bro, really, we're literally kids who are terrified. Kids who are terrified and don't even know it. And then they try to they try to prove themselves right. But really, we're both wrong. When you can learn that part about yourself, you can teach your partner that about themselves. And you can notice, hey, I feel like you're reacting a little bit strongly to this thing that I didn't mean anything wrong by doing. Does it make you feel threatened? Does it make you feel scared? And they'll be like, yeah, it makes me feel like you're being like this. And that scares me. And I'll be like, oh, well, I didn't mean to be like that. Like, the only reason I did this is because in my mind, it made sense. This is why it made sense. So let's talk about this issue in a way that makes sense. And there's really no need to fight most of the time. Arguments are normal, but it's just that inability to see eye to eye, and then slowly like guiding the conversation to a place where you can meet and be like, oh, okay, that makes sense, without crossing the line of disrespect. There's certain things, certain attitude, I would never call my partner names. Never. In an argument, no. I would never swear at him. I would never put him down. I would never take low blows to make him feel bad or prove a point. No. The only time we fight is because we're not seeing eye to eye on a certain issue, and all it takes is just a little bit of conversation and both people being able to stay as calm as possible. And if one person is getting heightened, the other person needs to be like, yo, let's not go there. Let's talk about this. Da-da-da-da-da. That's the power of healing, bro. That is why that's why this is so necessary. Like, if you don't have this part of yourself sorted out, you're not going to be able to handle that part in other people. And they're never going to feel fully loved by you. You're both going to stay starving, trying to get what you need from the other person, because you're still living in this world of needs not being met. What could you really need when you love yourself fully? What could you really need when you know that you're held by God and everything you do is protected and given, and blessings and love, and every bad thing that could ever happen to you is actually a gift that you can turn into strength? How could you ever need anything? And that's me preaching, because personally I'm still figuring out how to satisfy the small part of myself in relationships that still feels like she's not lovable. And I think a lot of people feel like that deep down. But it's all a process, right? I still live in that world sometimes, especially when I get tired. Honestly, it's only when I get tired, when it's too late in the night, she comes out and she's like, give me what I need. During the day, I'm fine, I'm chilling. This is just proof we needed our sleep, bro. But anyway, I hope that makes sense. And take your set of ailments and use it. That shit is a gift. Analyze it, recycle it, turn it into something new, and don't be a victim, bro. Just open your eyes and take that shit for what it is, and open yourself up to God and be guided in how to handle it and what it's trying to teach you. I could go on forever about this topic, because there's been so many things that I have learned how to neutralize and actually turn positive. But it's already been half an hour, so I'll probably just leave afflictions here, and in the next video I'm going to talk about addictions, which is a way that some of us tend to process our afflictions that only end up like inflicting more pain onto ourselves and others. So it's kind of taking the affliction and it's hurt you is hurting yourself. And I'm gonna go over how to break free of addiction. And it can be addiction to substances or other habits, or addiction to certain feelings that you're attracting in your life, which is pretty much this pattern that you keep reattracting, because you're actually addicted to the pain. You're addicted to being proven right about what you feel like you believe in yourself, and you love the way it hurts. Unfortunately, I'm sorry, but it's twisted like that. It really is. And yeah, so I'm going to talk about how to sacrifice and how to have faith. And that's the key to breaking free from addiction. Thank you for listening.